What's up, guys? Kris here, and welcome back to Cooking with Casey. I'm here with DB from DC. So we're going to be making some surf and turf. Now, we can't just have all meat because that's bad for you. It's kind of one of those things where people say that you can't have all protein all the time. So today we're going to have some nice steaks, some shrimp, and our chef in training is going to make us a potato. Mashed potatoes, to be exact. These are the seasonings I used. I used a little bit of meat tenderizer, chili powder, Old Bay, onion and herb seasoning from Mrs. Dash, steak seasoning from Mrs. Dash, and a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. That's basically all I used. So with that, we're going to start out with how to cook the steaks. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn on your oven. You're going to have it start to preheat to 400 degrees. Now you get you a nice big pan, and you're going to take the pan, put it on the stove, and put it on about medium heat, and let that heat for about 3 minutes. Now that that's heating, and cook the steaks first. So while we're waiting for the pan to preheat, we're going to switch to my lovely assistant, who's going to help us peel the potato and, help us get ready for it. So, we're getting ready to cook. Alright guys, as you can see, my assistant has done a lovely job peeling the potato.
Thank you.
So, now that our pan is hot, we're waiting for we have to wait for the water to boil, so that way we can cut the potato and, let it get soft. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to start cooking the steaks, because our pan is nice and hot. So, what you're going to do is you're going to gently set the steak in the pan, and you're going to let it cook for about 4 minutes on each side. So, let me set that timer real quick. Now that we're waiting for the steaks to cook for 4 minutes on that first side, we're gonna flip over here to our camera lady, or our not camera lady, but our assistant, chef in training, who's dicing the potatoes and trying to get it nice and ready for us to put in the pot right there to boil with water and make nice and soft so we can make mashed potatoes. So we'll see you guys in just a moment when the first side is done, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright guys, our steaks have finished cooking on one side, so it's time to turn off the butter real quick and flip them. And since I put a lot of seasoning on it, it's going to look a little brown on the edges, but it's going to look nice and grayish brown in the center. And that's just all the seasoning and stuff mixing together, mingling, and having a great time, being delicious. So I'm going to put that on for another 4 minutes, and then after that we're going to take this pan and we're going to stick it right in the oven for about 10 minutes. So after that 10 minutes is up, then that means the steaks will be done, and during that time that they're in the oven, I'll be trying to cook the shrimp that's over there. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. I'll be back after this commercial break. This episode of Cooking with Casey was brought to you by Copper Chef Pans, the nonstick pan that can practically do anything. Use Copper Chef pans for your next cooking endeavor. Thank you very much. And let's get back to the video. Okay guys, our buzzer has sounded, which means it's time to put them in the oven. So, if my camera lady will take a step back for a second, I'm going to take the pan straight off the stove, and since this is a Copper Chef pan, hashtag not sponsored, I'm just going to slide it right in there, and it'll be just fine. So I'm going to cook that for about 10 minutes, but while that's cooking, I'm gonna wash this pan out real quick because we gotta be clean.
I'm trying to teach him how to keep the kitchen clean in the process.
She thinks she's teaching me. That's good. Thank you, my assistant. So now that this pan is nice and clean, see that shine, that copper shine? We're gonna put that right on top of the burner. And we're going to start cooking our shrimp. So the thing about shrimp, they start out all like grayish and stuff, but you just gotta cook them until they turn pink. So we're just gonna pour the shrimp in there.
Put them in a cold pan.
It's good.
I think they're stuck.
Yeah, they got a little bit stuck, but it's okay.
Is there anything on them, or is that how they look when you buy them?
So when you buy them, they come out all gray and stuff, but what you have to do is you just gotta, you know, season them a little bit. So I use that Old Bay seasoning and just a tad bit of butter. So that's all I did, and they'll start cooking any second now. So as they're cooking, we're just gonna watch them, and I'd say let them cook for about 5 minutes on each side. So while that's happening, we'll check on these potatoes, which are almost done boiling. You'll know when they're done because it'll start to foam up at the top, and that's when you stop the boiling and take it directly off the heat, which will prevent it from boiling over. So with that said, I'll see you guys back in just a little bit. Alright guys, our steaks have finished cooking. Our shrimp is still trying to cook. Just use a little tiny fork to, you know, flip them, make sure that they don't burn on one side. Our camera lady will be the judge of if they're done or not, because she can see practically everything. But anyway, our steaks are finished. We just took them out of the oven. My assistant has taken them out of the oven. So, in like an attempt to see if they're done or not, we're going to get us a plate, and we're going to take a steak. We're going to take it out of the pan. And sous chef, can you get me a knife, please? So to make sure that the steak is done, we're going to cut this just enough to see inside. And as you can see, that steak is completely cooked all the way through. So that means that's done. And now it's time to plate the steak. Now, the sous chef who is preparing our potatoes is going to take it from here. Yes, you're taking it from here.
The shrimp is ready.
Well, Kris, Casey, what do I do with what do you recommend I put in these potatoes?
Milk and butter and maybe some pepper.
Okay, is there a certain amount?
About a half cup of milk with about a tablespoon and an eighth of butter and just a pinch of salt and pepper.
I recently found out that if you just nuke your
Tactical nuke incoming!
your milk and
I'm
butter,
going to put that in.
it will be easier to mix with your potatoes. Now, and you only need to just slightly warm it. You don't have to boil it or anything, just slightly warm it. We have what we call a potato masher. And we are going to pour our milk and butter slowly into our potatoes.
Too much milk. Huh? Too much milk. You shouldn't pour that.
Oh. Edit that out.
You can always add. Huh? You can always add milk to it.
That's true.
You don't want soupy potatoes.
Put them on pause.
In the meantime,
I'm gonna put it
these shrimp are pretty much done. Look great, man. Alright, so since I have to split this meal with my sous chef / assistant, I'm going to give my plate about half, a little bit more than half, because my sous chef apparently doesn't like seafood.
just put a little milk in at a time.
You're supposed to be able to cook, sous chef.
That's why I'm soup.
Oh, you need enough potato. Why don't you just bake one? Why don't you just bake a potato? Just get a baked potato and bake it in the microwave.
We're out of potatoes. Looks like I'm gonna have to save this operation. Oh wait, it looks like I forgot a little bit of something. I forgot I bought. Well, we bought a zucchini to cook, and it was just sitting in the bottom of the refrigerator because we gotta keep our food refrigerated. But anyway, we're gonna make this zucchini, and we're gonna make a beautiful plate out of this yet. So this is what I call the surf and turf, Kris Ninja edition. So you're gonna cut off that bottom part, and then let me get a bigger knife.
Thank you, Chef, for hiring me as your dishwasher.
Oh yeah, no problem. I had to save her potatoes.
I heard that.
So since I was so close to my fingers, I just started sawing. That way, it's easier for me not to cut myself. So there we go. We've cut up a nice zucchini, and since we have our copper shell pan back, it's time to turn the stove back on, put a little bit of butter in there, and try and cook this zucchini. Put that in for about, I don't know, 25 seconds. While that's happening, I'm just going to make sure that this is all nice and good, all fine and dandy. I'm going to taste a piece, actually, to make sure that it tastes good. I'm the only point. I personally would add just a tad bit more salt, but other than that, this is really good. So now that everything is nice and hot, we're going to take this, and here's a unique plating technique for any beginners. So take the zucchini, kind of get some on your plate. I'm taking about half. She can have about half.
When we moved, we didn't have anything, so we used Alpha. We furnished our house with awesome things people nearby were selling.
So there you go. So now I'm going to take the plate. I'm going to kind of set the zucchini flat as I can.
Ice cream scoop.
And then you're going to take an ice cream scoop. Let's see, can I find the main one? Here it is. I'm going to take the potatoes and then put it on like that.
That is pretty.
Then I'm going to flatten out the other ones. Then I'm going to take the rest of the potatoes and put that right on top. Now, since this one, well, actually, no, never mind. Never mind. So just make sure you get all the potatoes you can. And I'm just going to leave that like that. And we're going to wash this. I'm going to set the table. So this would be great for like a dinner for two, or just making family dinner. And always remember, turn off your stove. Don't leave your stove on. So, gotta make sure I turn off my stove. And this is the point where we taste everything. So we remove our hat, we remove our apron, and we'll just set this right here for now. So, Sarah Gray, we're just going to pick up our fork, and we're going to first try out the potatoes. All right? What do you think?
Pretty good.
I'd say the same. Now zucchini. Good.
You know I'm not a fan of zucchini.
See, it's good even to a non-zucchini
Came out
fan.
good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see how the shrimp tastes.
You know I have to use a fork for everything.
That's really good.
Yes.
Wow.
And she's not a seafood fan at all. So let's try the turf part of this meal.
How tender it is. Kris would say how tender it is.
Yeah, I'm just on the corner of my plate, so it's a little bit harder to cut.
That cuts really smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Tender.
And nice and well done.
There you go. Pretty good, right?
I think I could use a touch more, maybe salt or just a touch more something. It's good.
Well, when we find out what that something is, we'll let you know.
I think you
I
did a
can't really
great
say
job.
salt. But anyway, that does it for this episode of Cooking with Casey. Hope you guys enjoyed my lovely assistant, DB from DC. So, hope you guys enjoyed. So I guess I can do my outro, which is thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like to give that like button a nice slap to the face, like and also, I will see all you guys. Goodbye.